Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte.
Later in the show, we'll hear about a youth ensemble traveling theater spectacle that is also a meditation on grief as we explore across the Ninefold River with the Unnameable Children's Project.
We'll get you ready for the finals of NEPM's Valley Voices Story Slam with last year's winner, Paul McNeil, as well as finalist Jennifer Baker.
Plus, our Tina Turner Memorial Wine Thunderdome returns to Leverett, where we'll drink natural reds with our Franklin County wine friend, Ken Washburn.
Last week, you had a double shot of...
Triple, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, a double shot of live music Friday, but a triple shot of music. So no live music for you today, sadly. But to make up for it, it's Live Game Friday.
Which is just as good. Tomorrow is April 13th, which can be stylized in the U.S. manner as 4.13, or if you will, 413. It is 413 day tomorrow.
Too bad. With the bleep year, it would have been today.
I know.
Yeah, well, anyway. But Liz Rosenberg, who is the owner of the Toy Box, the independent specialty toy store on North Pleasant Street in Amherst, is hosting a 413 party at the Toy Box on 413 Day, featuring toys, of course, and fun and games and prizes. And Liz is here to teach us a game live on the radio, and we're going to play it. Before we play the game, tell us what's going to happen a little bit at your 413 extravaganza tomorrow.
Well, it's a second year, only the second year we're doing it. We came up with the idea.
So it's 826?
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
Stop
413 plus 413 would second time, 826,
That's
right?
like 4 months.
That would be the end of August.
Exactly.
People are in a different state
We would
of
have missed the
mind.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 413, April 13th. And yes, last year it was on a Thursday. So we just skipped right over Friday because of leap year. And so what we are doing is basically looking for a way to celebrate the area, the bigger area, the 413 area. And now it is about a third of the state of Massachusetts.
Huh.
Originally, it was half. There was only two area codes. There was 413 and 617.
Yeah.
Right? And
I got bumped to 508 later in life.
so that is true. 617 split. But initially, the area codes were, if there were more than one area code in a state, then they had a 1 in the center. And if they were only one area code per state, there was a 0 in the center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Are you sure that's right? Because there was 617, and that was there
were
was
two.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
All right. Now there's 978 to contend with, and all these other things.
No, everything goes. And they say that 413 will stay 413 until perhaps 2030. And then there might be changes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Then we have to change the name of the show.
We're not changing the name of the show. 413 forever.
So what's going to happen
Forever.
in your 413 day at the Toy Box,
So
Liz?
we are celebrating. We're pulling out anything that we have that is made or created in the 413. So that includes a whole lot of puzzles and games and books. There's a ton of authors, illustrators, a lot of them children's book authors and illustrators.
Many of whom were either on the show this week or will be on the show next week.
That's true.
Awesome.
We had
Awesome.
Mo Willems on earlier this week, and we have Holly Black and Tony DiTeresi on next week. So there we go.
That's right. Yep. Well, historically, there's Dr. Seuss,
Yeah.
right?
Heard of him?
Emily Dickinson, heard of her.
I don't know her children's book. I'm just kidding.
No, but she has lovely poetry that we have on and off. We have it in the store,
Mm-hmm.
and because she's actually buried right behind the store.
That's right.
Sorry.
Sometimes at night,
That's funny.
her ghost comes out and haunts the toys of the Toy Box.
But when we do have her poetry book in stock, we keep it in the local authors section.
I was just gonna go for I feel like her work is very accessible, but no, we totally got her out back. Is it an entirely different
Yep, go
flex?
visit her. Go visit her. And then just bringing up, all sorts of ways you can honor the 413. So we will have coloring pages that have different counties mapped out, and then people can write on. So basically, the coloring pages will have the counties mapped out in the 413, and then we're just going to leave the rest of Massachusetts blank so they can write out what they love, what's the most special thing, where they've been in the 413. I mean, it's pretty vast. It includes the Berkshires.
Hopefully you'll share some of those with us afterwards. It'll be fun for us to talk
Oh,
about
I'm
on the
happy
show because
to.
that's the whole theme of the
Yeah.
whole show. That we're talking about the things that we love about this place.
Well, we will post a lot of them in the window of our store.
Oh, cool.
Fantastic.
with permission, of course. And we will also we will have some cider that we will get from Atkins.
Yay.
And we will also have from 4 to 6 for the 21 plus crowd. We have hard cider from Carr's Cider House, which
Nice.
is amazing. Yeah.
They do good work.
We're talking with Liz Rosenberg from the Toy Box in Amherst, which is it 20 years now? Or
We're in 21.
21 years. We had you on for the
That's
20th
right, the store
anniversary
can drink now.
celebration. Yeah, your store itself can have the hard cider.
Only from 4 to 6.
Only from
Only
4 to
from
6.
4 to 6.
It's right there on North Pleasant Street in Amherst. And your fun and games is what you're all about.
Indeed, we are.
And you brought a game.
I brought a game. So I brought poetry for Neanderthals.
Aha.
You might want to say Neanderthal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I say no as I bash the inflatable bat.
It comes
Club.
with an inflatable bat that has
comes
no
with it.
written on it.
Yep.
We watched you inflate it as you
Yes,
got into
it
the
has
studio.
no.
Yes.
And it has a sad face.
Yes.
And on the back, it has a
A
cat.
cat because it's from Exploding Kittens.
Oh, yes,
Studios,
yes.
who are a game making company after Exploding Kittens had such success.
That's a favorite in our household.
And always a challenge to be able to play a game on the radio.
Yeah, so I was like, get an audio-friendly, radio-only game for us to play. So
And
what-
I was explaining this to a deaf person earlier this morning, which was all sorts of complicated ways of trying to get her to understand what was going on and me say it. So basically, there are two teams. There's the Glad team and the Mad team. The Glad team is first to go, and they pick a poet. And the Mad team gets to judge. So if you're playing with multiple people, you alternate as you're sitting. Mad, glad, mad, glad, mad, glad. And the poet, being of the Glad team, picks up a card, and there's a word on the card.
Okay, so are we...
You're Monty. You're going to be the poet, and Khaleesi here is the
Cleese
no
gets a
stick,
bat,
and
and I get a card.
You get a card, you get a bat. You know what your jobs are by your implement. And Monty, what you are going to have to do is you are going to have to get your team, and that might be me
Okay.
today, get your team to guess the word or the word on top or the word on the bottom with using complete sentences that only have words that have one syllable in them. If Monty says a word with more than one syllable, get your no stick ready.
And tap.
Okay. I think I'm ready. So I don't actually have to rhyme it either. It's a
No, it
yeah.
doesn't have to rhyme. You
So
can
no
use
wonder
you
it's
can use
poetry
your
for
best
Neanderthals.
Yes.
All
your
right.
best Neanderthal accent or not.
I don't know what their accent sounded like, so I'm not even going to try.
Make it up.
Okay. No pants fell down because...
Oh,
Khalees hit me with a bat! Mom!
no, okay.
All right, now it's Khalees's turn, and I get the bat.
Okay. Take a card.
Could you guess what it was, though, if I didn't say because?
No pants
Fell down.
fell down. Belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't get it because I got hit with a bat.
Yeah.
We're playing a game called Poetry for Neanderthals with Liz from the Toy Box on North Pleasant Street in Amherst, who are celebrating 413 Day tomorrow, April 13th, 4.13. And they're going to be doing fun games and contests and coloring and celebrating the 413.
Oh,
tomorrow.
and you can maybe win a $100 gift card.
We're not allowed to
giving
talk
that
about,
away.
about things like that
Oh.
on public radio, Liz. Now I'm going to hit you with a bat. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ!
I'm going to deflate that thing.
No, I am
Yes.
going to blow it up a little bit more,
Okay.
though, so it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about prices and things that are that so specific on public radio.
Okay. My
Also not supposed
apologies.
to talk about hitting. Anyway.
You might be able to spin a wheel.
Okay.
And who knows what'll happen then.
And not that you'll
Surprises.
spin again.
Good surprises.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go.
See food bug red claw.
That's not a full sentence.
You have to speak in full sentences,
Oh.
my friend. Bonk.
Okay. Do you know what that was? So you want to guess?
Seafood bug red cloth picnic?
No,
Claw.
Claw?
Claw.
Claw. Seafood. Oh, lobster.
Close.
Crab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you only get one guess as the person who's the...
No, you just keep throwing out guesses until you get it. So then when you get it, it goes on a point. There's actually a little board that has points on it. And you get 1 point for the top word, 3 points for the bottom word or phrase.
Oh, yeah. Because
And
mine was
nega-
belt
and-
or belt loop, and yours was crab or what?
Crab claws.
Ah.
And
Crab
then
cakes, rather.
and then you get negative points if you get hit with the no stick.
Okay, let's play one more round of this game. Khalees gets the no stick again, the bat.
Okay.
Okay.
I liked
do
that you
whatever you
could
wanna.
you could hear hit me with it. I inflated it and it made like a little dunk, which is fun. Okay. 1 syllable words, full sentences only. Poetry for Neanderthals. I hate this. The 1 syllable thing is really going to screw me up. The fun ride goes high
Roller coaster.
and round.
The fun ride goes high and round. What's that thing called? That big round ride.
Betsy, do you know what it is in the other room? She doesn't know. Betsy doesn't know what it is in the other room.
Wonder Wheel. That thing.
It's close to that, but people call it something else that aren't from New York. We're mad about this guy having a day off in the 80s.
Well,
so
now
close to
you've
things.
got you've
Wheel
said
is part of it. Wheel is the first word, so I actually technically got it.
spinning wheel.
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. Oh, that guy who got the day off.
Liz Rosenberg from the Toy Box in Amherst, which has been there for 21 years and is right in front of Emily Dickinson's grave on North Pleasant Street in Amherst.
And this game, Poetry for Neanderthals, is something that you can pick up there if you, at any time, but especially tomorrow if you go to celebrate 413 Day.
Yeah, and you could decorate a 413 Pride banner, and they'll have some 413 coloring pages and trivia, and you can give shout-outs about why you love the 413, which may or may not include the awesome, independently owned, 2-decade-plus toy store, the Toy Box in Amherst. Thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you so much. Have fun.
Thank you. Later in the show, we'll get you ready for the grand finale of NEPM's Valley Voices Story Slam with last year's winner, Paul McNeil, and finalist Jennifer Baker. And we'll take the wine Thunderdome to the Leverett Village Co-op and drink 2 natural reds with our friend Ken Washburn.
And up next, we go across the Ninefold River, which will flow into Ashfield next week.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Tonight we're doing a community art build. We're getting ready for a performance called Across the Ninefold River as part of the Unnameable Children's Project. I'm Matthew Glassman.
Matthew has been a fixture in the local theater and performance stage here in the Valley and the Hill Towns for a long time. But this in some ways is your swan song.
The Unnameable Children's Project is an experimental art lab that I started in 2021, where younger kids, really ages 5 to 12, get to try a whole variety of art forms and get to choose the way that they work. It's a bit inspired by the Black Mountain College, where artists and children meet each other as collaborators, skills and stories are shared, and then work and research is made. The Black Mountain College, it's not running anymore, but it was a really interesting experimental college in the beginning of the 20s, I believe, where folks like Buckminster Fuller and the experimental musician John Cage and Merce Cunningham and poets, they would conduct their experiments with students, and they would all be a part of the research together. They would eat together, and then they would share work with one another, and everyone was partners in that work. Our version is very similar in that we have sort of master artists from many different disciplines from around the country who come together. We work with kids in this fashion. Very collaborative, and we embrace the unknown. It's really process-oriented.
Are there always stories, linear or non-linear, that are being told in these collaborations?
We've done about 6 or 7 different pilots, and they've all been very different. This is the second time we've done the Ninefold River project, which really just has themes and questions around mourning, mourning, as well as dreaming and sort of the in-between spaces before we're alive and after we're alive.
My son, who is 10, who you've worked with in other theater productions, we like to jokingly say, before he was born, we say, when you were dead.
He hates it.
He hates it.
He hates it.
But it's in some ways true. Mourning, mourning, ing, is not a topic that often gets addressed in children's theater and children's art. Tell us why this is something that the Ninefold River is doing and that you're doing with the Unnameable Children's Project.
This is hard to talk about in some ways. This work is, although it's interested in mourning rites, it's really celebratory, the same way that Mardi Gras and Carnival are also mourning practices that embrace joy. And so that's part of our line of research. One reason why it's a part of the children's work is that this is where a space where children live inherently. They're much closer to these things. They're learning and experiencing all the levels of reality in ways that we as grown-ups and as adults have forgotten how to. Wonder, curiosity, also just proximity to just having been born and finding out where are we in this particular plane of existence? How did we get here? Where was I before? And where will I be later? It's really natural. And in many ways, my own experience was my mother was dying during COVID, and I realized we couldn't sit Shiva. We couldn't have our own mourning rites. And I started to realize, as many things in COVID taught us, that we haven't had integrated mourning rites in our culture in a long time. And so this came out of that wondering and having also kids at that time. But I should really say, the lead partners and collaborators here on this work, I shouldn't be talking without them.
Let's go talk to them.
My name is Jeremy Eaton.
What are you working on, Jeremy?
I am painting big, colorful daisies all over a gray suit jacket.
Tell me your take on what's going on here with Unnameable Children's Project and this particular performance that'll be free and open to the public outside on the Ashfield Town Common on the 19th and 20th.
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine, 6:30 on the 19th, 7:30 on the 20th. Yep, it's about 45 minutes long. It's accessible for anyone. It's being led and created and imagined by both adult professional artists and children who are expert at being children. So everyone's an expert in something, and then they're sharing all those things together. I firmly believe that everyone who imagines, which I think is everyone, whether it's, some people say they don't have an imagination, but we all have different relationships to our imaginations, and I feel really excited always about creating spaces where everyone can just live with their imagination and have even some comfort in knowing that they have one, and there's no right or wrong way to have one, and I feel like this work particularly allows that kind of space to start to happen.
What does working with kids change about the way you go about your other works?
It's taught me a lot about patience, because I'm a pretty impatient person. It's taught me a lot about my own learning disabilities and how I learn, and feel really passionate about creating spaces where other people can learn in the way they do. Like, kids need to learn in the way they need to learn, regardless of how their brain operates. Expectation is kind of anti-art often, because if you have an expectation, you're not having an exploration. Like, the two really are at odds of each other, and I feel like kids just destroy expectation in all forms. So,
how many puppets are you making for this?
Oh, Tori would have maybe a better answer than me, because, well, first of all, what defines a puppet? Hard to say in this work. Maybe anywhere from 3 to 8. Come on the 19th and 20th and count the puppets.
Count them out loud.
And then you'll have an answer, yeah.
Let's go talk to Tori over here first.
Hi, I'm Tori Lynn.
You're one of the directors of this too?
Yes, I'm the children's director, yes.
Where did you come from to direct this?
I came from Michigan. That's where I grew up. But I often work on the northeast area in Glover, Vermont with Bread and Puppet Theater.
Oh,
so
cool.
I've been a resident company member there since 2020.
Hence the puppets, I guess.
Hence the puppets, yeah. But
Bread and Puppet, very famous for their puppets.
yeah, I was puppeteering before that as well in Detroit with the company called Puppet Art Theater Detroit. So I learned what I know from there, and they happen to have the Puppet Journal with Bread and Puppet in it from the 90s. Yeah, so I was sort of always adjacent to Bread and Puppet, and then this sort of branched out too, which is nice because Bread and Puppet, it's often older, it's intergenerational, but a lot of our apprenticeship is geared towards more adults. Grad students, college kids, but not really families, except for on circus days. So it's nice to sort of involve an apprenticeship with kids and with the Unnameable Children's Project.
I hear this is your second time directing this.
It is.
How is it different directing it this time?
It's different this time because last time it was more of this on Trinity, about Trinity campus, or not about Trinity, but it was on the campus at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was sort of adult-centered, I'd say. You know, it was more focused on Matthew and the students that were studying at Trinity. And this one, so they just had an appearance, the kids. They just had like this precious couple of cameos, you know, like child cameos, which was beautiful. And it was, I think, very unexpected, I think, for audience too. But this is more child-centric. It's in their home community. They're familiar with the space. They're familiar with over there.
And by over there, you mean the common across the way?
Yeah, across the street. Just it's right. You can almost see the church from. Yeah.
Also, now you have to refer to the common as the over there.
The over there.
Yeah. The over there.
It ties into that whole liminal space thing that I know this is all about.
Yes.
Though. The over there.
Yes.
The other side. What do you think people will experience when they come to this on the 19th and 20th? What will they see? What will they be immersed in at this free production?
The idea, I feel like, reflecting together. I think community is a really big presence. I think having the children there too is always like a heartwarming thing. So I think as a collective audience, I hope that ethereal, innocence, whimsy is all available just by imagery. You know, we're making these, you know, they don't really look like much now, but there's these blobs here that are, they're gonna be moon faces and sun faces, and they'll be on sticks, and the kids will be holding them. So there's gonna be a lot of color to see, and also a lot of wind imagery and wings and, you know, things that help you move, sailboats. But you need the wind and the sail to really do the thing, you know, so it's like a collaboration, and we can't really have a show without people, and so it's really all the elements, I think, will be there, like literally fire, water, air, and the land will all be there. We'll be there. I mean, I hope y'all will be there, but I'll be there. We learned a lot last year. Last year I learned that kids need snacks. They're here next week from 10 to 4. It's a long time, and they bring their lunch, but they need a pre-lunch and a post-lunch.
I think we probably all need snacks, but just like with our imagination, we drive it away from ourselves. I don't need to eat, and I don't need to imagine.
There's a suppression.
When you stop growing, you stop thinking about it. Yeah. They're actively growing. And it's just sort of like, no, I need more calories. This machine is running all the time.
And then they're useless if they don't get, you know, they really, it's not, you can't expect anything to get done until their needs are met.
We know that you learned that kids need snacks, Tori, but have you learned anything artistically, creatively from working with the kids?
What aesthetic emerged for the puppets and for the production from the kids this year?
Kids, you know, some kids can only do something for so long, you know, and then they're ready to move on. But it's really nice with these paper mache heads because I would like to do it smooth and like, don't use so much mache and whatever. But they're really sort of greasy right now, but I believe that they're gonna dry, and they're lumpy and they're lovely, and they are what they are. And it is a lot of mess. So it's, you know, it's like improvising, you know, it's like wherever they're at is where I'll meet them, you know. So if this is gonna be lumpy, it's okay because it's gonna dry in a fun whatever.
Maybe we should meet some of the kids that are involved with this. Hi, Ann. Wow, Ann. Ann's gung-ho to be on the radio. Ann was going to go watch a movie, but then was like, I want to be on the radio. Yeah. You live here in Ashfield, Ann?
Yeah, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 10 and a half.
Tell us about what you're doing in this production of Ninefold River, put on by the Unnameable Children's Project, except your name's Ann.
Well, right now I'm helping cut cardboard.
Nice. And what's that cardboard going to turn into?
It's going to turn into a stained glass window that will turn into a boat when they pull it out of the window.
That's great. I was trying to figure out if it was a door or a window or a boat, and it's nice to know that I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah. What's fun about working on this?
I really like crafts and the evolution of characters and stuff like that. I've been a part of it since the very first one that Matthew ever ran, so it's really fun.
Tell us about a little bit about this story, what people will experience.
Well, last April vacation, we did one at a college, and it was kind of, it was about like different ways of death, I think, and we were a big blackbird's wing, and then we came out and said some stuff, and it was really cool. So I think it'll be kind of about that again.
What's your favorite part of this production?
The costumes.
Yeah, who doesn't love to dress up? Well, I guess a lot of people, but
I'm right here.
I do.
There's a couple other kids.
Yeah, let's talk
There's
to
another
them.
collaborator here.
Hi.
This is Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe. You're a collaborator here. What are you working on?
This is a design, it's a cocoon, and I'm making a whole bunch of cocoons as part of this sculpture garden. So there's going to be lantern cocoons, there's going to be a great blue heron flying from a tree, there's going to be sails, which Ev over there is working on sewing right now, which will be painted.
Oh, there they are.
Some shadow
Look at those
shadow
beautiful.
puppets within the cocoons.
Where are the other kids we're going to talk to?
Davi and Esme.
How old are you?
7.
How old are you, Davi?
6.
Whoa. What are you working on here?
We are working on birds. We're working on birds for the audience.
Oh, and so will we in the audience be the birds?
The audience is gonna write names that people they love or they used to love, and we're gonna hang them on the trees.
Ooh, I love that.
They are very colorful too. So they are shaped like birds, and we're gonna hang them on a tree with some rope end.
Wonderful. I can't wait to see them. That was the cutest thing that happened to me today.
I know.
Matthew Glassman. I started by saying this is your swan song, April 19th and 20th here in Ashfield. You have a long-time reputation with Double Edge Theater right down the street, doing these indoor-outdoor performances, now mentoring these young kids.
Now moving on.
Yeah, tell us where you're moving on to, where we will miss you at.
All of my good friends and people of Western Mass, please come find me in my new home of Bath, Maine, where I'll be the executive and artistic director of the Chocolate Church Art Center.
That might be a church I could go to.
There's a Tom Waits song for that organization.
Oh yeah, there's got to be a Chocolate Jesus.
We got to work on it. It's an old name.
I don't think you should touch it.
Nope, leave it. It's perfect the way that it is.
Thank you guys. This is a big collaborative effort. We have artists coming from New Orleans and Kentucky and an amazing jazz musician from Hartford named Mixashawn, and musicians from Greenfield are here to rehearse. It's a big community artistic hubbubaloo for the living and the dead.
Got to be chocolate.
Coming up, Valley Voices storytellers Paul McNeil and Jennifer Baker will prepare us for the best of Valley Voices Story Slam happening tomorrow at the Academy of Music in Northampton.
But now it's the time when 2 natural red wines enter, 1 natural red wine leaves. The wine Thunderdome returns to the Leverett Village Co-op.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, homegrown in Hatfield, Massachusetts, and providing energy savings for their customers for over 10 years. Learn more at northeast-solar.com.
I was not even old enough to drink during the Yellowtail heyday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's where the hatred of critter wines began.
I mean,
What
like,
wines?
stuff.
Critter wines, they call them. Like, if there was a thing that was like, if there's an animal that's on your label that's not a stag, or a duck, I guess, don't drink it.
Stag's Leap and Duckhorn.
Yeah.
I like both of those.
I do like those wines. Those are great wines. But if there's like a koala or like a kangaroo, stay away.
Well, you know, the Judith Beck ink has that octopus on it, and everyone
Octopus doesn't count.
People are like, I love the octopus so much, and I'm like, in my mind, critter wine, but I love the way it tastes. So I'm like, I can overlook the octopus.
It's great.
But I'm really picky about labels.
Yeah, we almost did a segment where you were going to try to do the most boring labels in the store.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, I used to work with exclusively Spanish wines, and I will say that Spain's labels sometimes are, some of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yes.
All of Europe, not all, but most European wines have the most boring labels. France, Italy, Spain.
But French wines, there's like an elegance there. Spain is just like, there's like a meme. Graphic design is my passion, but the joke is that the person's really bad at graphic design. I feel like that's Spain's vibe a little bit. I don't know. You think the European stuff's boring?
Boring. And then every once in a while there'll be a French wine that has like a cool label, and I'll be like, oh, this is just pandering to the American market. And then I criticize them for that.
In terms of like utilitarianism, like no one's got anything on Austria.
Boring labels, which is fine. Great wine.
Yeah, all of the Baltic stuff that's coming out that's being brought in now has super fun labels, and I think that's in no small part because like young winemakers who are like, this stuff is boring, and if I don't make something that looks good, people will never try it because I don't know where this wine is from.
We are at the Leverett Village Co-op with one of our favorite Franklin County wine tasters, Ken Washburn, who is not only a level 2 sommelier, but is the general manager of the Leverett Village Co-op. We're going to taste some fun wines today, Ken.
We sure are. We have 2 wines here, and they are both either natural or natural-esque. They are the
Natty Light.
There's nothing natural about Natty Light. Unnatural is like the fact that people continue to drink it.
The first one we're going to try is, does anyone want to try and pronounce this?
Levo.
That was so beautiful. Say it again.
Levo.
Where is it from?
Portugal.
Oh yeah,
Portugal.
Portugal is like Khalees's favorite wine region.
It's it is like it's so underrated, and there's such fun things that happening there.
God, I love a good Touriga Nacional. So delicious.
To me, Touriga Nacional sounds like an automotive race that would happen 100%. In Portugal.
It might.
Did you drive in the Touriga Nacional?
Yeah, and I won.
I got the pole position.
Prepare to qualify.
Weevo.
Yeah, Weevil.
Like egg, but not quite.
Weevos wobble, but they don't fall down.
Fair enough.
The Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Romperoo makes Weeble toys.
Wow.
Remember that toy?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're young, I forget.
The second wine that we're going to try is new. So exciting. I love getting new wines here. It's from Charlotte Dalton Wines, and it's called the What a Ride Red. And it's got a beautiful multicolored roller coaster on the I was going to say on the cover, on the label, on the label. And they're both blends. Both wines are blends. We're going to try the
Weevil.
Wobbles, but it don't fall down. And it's Portuguese, UIVO, and the label is interesting because it's got a dog's paw on it.
Yeah, I think that their graphic design is actually really cool.
Yeah, it is. Graphic design is their passion for in the real way. And the wine actually, so we've been saying Weevo, that's the producer. The wine is Renegado.
Now, it's interesting because there is a very affordable wine from Portugal that Ken and I stan.
And it's a critter wine.
Yeah.
With a dog on it.
See, I was going to say something about it. You were like, if it's not a stag, like, don't do it. Like, but you guys really like lab. So, like, you like dogs on labels.
That's the best grocery store wine.
Yep. I have literally purchased a box of it for my counter before in my life. It is such a great wine. We don't have it here just because we don't work with that. It's like a big old distributor. But it is so good. And I have turned multiple people onto it. I'm the person where if someone's in a grocery store, they will text me out of the blue a picture of the wine section and be like, help me.
Yeah. Gonna do this on FaceTime. I'll go through the aisles with you.
And multiple times I've seen lab and I'm like, get the lab. I haven't tried the rosé or the white.
Yeah, me either.
So this is really red only, my endorsement, I shall say. But it's so good. It's so balanced. This is the lab fan club. Have you had it?
I haven't had the lab.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's not the greatest wine in the world, but it's a great cheap wine.
Yeah. I like this vineyard a lot.
Weevo.
Young winemaker. He actually studied winemaking in Oregon.
Thiago Sampaio.
And then he went back to Portugal and was like, I'm going to make a wine with 25 different grapes in it, half white, half red. And that's what this one is. I actually don't. It's in my red wine section.
It looks red.
I have employees that keep moving it into the rosé section, but in my heart, it's not a rosé. I don't know why.
All right, let's try the Weevo with the dog paw on it.
Renegado.
That is Renegado. It's a step up from the dog label lab that we've been talking so much about, I'm sure.
We could have a dog label thunderdome.
Dog eat dog Thunderdome. 2 dogs enter.
Oh, no! No, those are very illegal.
That's illegal.
Yeah, Michael Vick got in a lot of trouble for that.
I'm looking at their other labels, and I think they all just have dog parts on them.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely getting some kind of deep berry. But also, this is going to sound weird, and again, I'm with wine people. I'm getting like a mold. But not a corked mold.
No.
Like a fuzzy, benevolent mold.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a penicillin. This has some cherry and a lot of like apple cider notes too, I think.
Oh, spot on.
Yeah.
It's like if, you know those Bragg's makes those like drinks?
Yeah.
I love those.
Like a cherry version of those?
Yeah.
That explains why I like this so much.
Yeah.
I feel like so many of the wines that I gravitate to, even if I'm not like in wine mode and really thinking about them, cherry tasting note. I'm such a cherry tasting note person. I love it. I'm obsessed with this wine. It's like juice without sugar. There's something about it. Like I want to put ice in it. I want to do like crazy things with it. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to make a spritzer out of it. And it does have the effervescence on the tongue only.
I have used this really well for a good early summer sangria.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm getting floral on the nose now. Really floral.
You know what I'm getting? Kool-Aid.
Really?
Yep. And I love it.
I can see that, but I get more flowers.
I'm gonna bust through a wall.
Wow.
Oh yeah!
Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah, Kool-Aid here.
Okay, this first wine here at the Leverett Village Co-op with Ken Washburn again is the...
happily continue to drink
I
it.
know.
Yeah, I drank all mine. Whoops. But it is
It's
the
so
Weevo Renegado from Portugal.
And the blend of red and white, like, because it's got a little bit of a nice, like, backbone of acid from the white, and it's also got these really nice soft tannins. It's this good combo. Like, on the tongue, it's just so pleasant.
This is a high bar, for sure.
And you said 25 grapes?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's move on. What's wine number 2 here at the Leverett Village Co-op with our Franklin County wine friend, Ken Washburn?
We've got the Charlotte Dalton What a Ride Red. This is a blend of Shiraz, Carignan, and Graciano. 46% Shiraz, so I'd say Shiraz dominant. And if you don't know, Shiraz is Syrah, which really blew my partner's mind when I told her that.
Uh-huh.
She was like, what? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
People change the names of grapes
Yeah.
depending on where they are and how well they pronounce it.
Yeah.
There's a million different incarnations of this. Garnacha, Grenache, Cannonau. is also Grenache.
Canino? Oh, it is, isn't it?
Primitivo is Zinfandel.
No, it's not.
It kind of is.
It's not.
It is.
No, they did testing.
Come on.
They did genetic testing.
It's not really?
It's a myth.
What?
Yeah. Oh man, I better be right. I don't think it is. I think that's something that has been sort of debunked in the past decade. What if we had a grape that we had 100 names for?
What is this, Lord of the Rings? All the characters have 100 names and you need to learn them all if you want to follow this book.
My name is Arago, but everybody calls me
Strider! What if every municipality was allowed to name the grape that we gave them?
Yeah, and what if there's a municipality that the grape is named after, but they don't grow it here? I'm looking at you, Montepulciano.
All right. Wine number 2, the Charlotte Dalton What a Ride Red. It's from Langhorne Creek, Australia. We were just talking about how Australia's sort of fallen out of fashion. New Zealand is definitely the shining star of Oceania right now with their...
They have better wines to begin
with their Sauvignon Blancs.
Yeah, but the bloom is off the rose on that one, too.
And the Pinot Noirs.
New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, I can almost always smell it in the glass because it smells like cat pee.
Okay.
We've talked about this before, and it smells like so many other things in addition to cat pee. But I think
cat pee and tropical fruit.
You're really focusing on the wrong thing.
That's how I know it's
the
New
cat
Zealand.
pee thing. Like, I always assume that people's cat pee thing is more of a sake thing.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I don't get the cat pee thing from New Zealand stuff, but...
You're allergic to cats, so...
Yeah, but I know what cat pee smells like.
I live with 2 cats, so...
Yeah,
I'm painfully aware.
Before I was...
You should think about, instead of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc smelling like cat pee, you should just be like, oh, my cats smell like New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Smells richer, like dried fruit, dates and prunes.
And definitely older fruit, more molassesy, caramel almost.
I get a stewed fruit as well.
Yeah.
The fruit has been altered.
Yes.
The fruit is not fresh, for sure. Something's happened to it. These are not tannic grapes, but then the tannins are so gentle.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy. So easy. It goes down easy.
It's a tap. Part of it is that this one is so much more contained than the other one. Like, the other one is just, like, again, like, Uivo makes wines that are off the rails. That's their kind of MO. And this one is, in comparison, like, I feel like if we had this with something else, like, it wouldn't feel as reserved, but it feels really reserved.
Number 1 Portugal fan over here. You
Look,
have, like,
I'm
a little
just like,
flag that you wave.
Seriously, I shouldn't, because they did terrible things to the world.
Their wines do.
Their wines are wonderful. And I really want to encourage people to try them because there's so much cool stuff coming out of Portugal, but also I don't want their price point to go up so I can't afford them. So, like, I'm of 2 minds.
So go do this privately, but don't tell anyone else about it.
So if you're listening, don't buy wine from Portugal.
No, buy it, but don't tell anyone else about it.
This is now fruitier and sweeter on the nose.
I think it's actually opening up in a really beautiful way.
I am a huge fan of this wine, and it's brand new. And one of my reps brought it in, and I was like, ooh, that's a little more than we usually charge for wines here. But I took it home, and I was like, wait, I have to have it.
Okay, now it's officially time to vote. There is the Uivo Renegado Portuguese 25 grape blend. And then there is the too small for my without reading glasses to read.
Here, I'll bring it really close to your face.
Australian. No, now I still have to get the reading glasses out.
How about I do it? The Charlotte Dalton What a Ride Red Shiraz Carignan Graciano.
Anybody ready to vote?
Yeah, I'll give my obvious. Like, I love the Uivo. I love it so much. It's just so bouncy and so playful, and everything's unexpected. And I always get new things from it every time I get that bottle.
I could tell the Uivo to sit and to shake. And the Uivo paw of a dog that is on the label would get into my hand and shake my hand like a good boy or girl.
Or
they. Yeah, who knows how dogs identify?
Dogs don't even know what gender is.
It doesn't matter to them. I don't think they care.
I think it's people get so crazy when you misgender their dog. Anyway, that's not what we're doing right now. We're voting, and
I vote for the Uivo.
I'm also voting for the Uivo. Even though
unanimous.
I love this other wine.
The other one I love so much.
The Uivo is tough to beat.
You did bring out one of my favorites. The Charlotte was going to have a long hill to climb to beat one of my faves.
You know, we almost tried a cheap Zinfandel, so you're welcome for my choices today.
I appreciate you, Ken.
Ken Washburn from the Leverett Village Co-op, apart from opening the patio on April 21st, when the cleanup of the fun playground happens, you have another big event coming up.
Yes, it is the Spring Fling, and that is happening Saturday, May 11th. We are going to be celebrating the warmer season, flowers, music, etc. It's going to be great. And it's going to be we have such a beautiful outdoor space here. It's great for big outdoor events. We had so many people here for the eclipse, which was not as cool as what y'all experienced, I hear.
Okay.
Oh my, that is crazy!
Our outdoor events are just so fun. So many people come out. It's going to be great.
And remember, the Leverett Village Co-op is the only store in Leverett, and it's a community-owned market. So there you have it.
Yeah, good stuff all around. And these 2 good wines that you can pick up.
Amongst myriad other wines.
Yeah, a very curated collection by yours truly.
Yay.
And other stuff, too.
Yeah, we have food, I guess. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Beautiful
Thanks
rainy
for being
day.
a Franklin County wine friend.
Yeah.
So fun. I did put it in my Instagram bio. Yeah. Because you said I could.
Up next, getting ready for the Best of Valley Voices Story Slam happening at the Academy of Music in Northampton tomorrow night. We'll meet storytellers Paul McNeil and Jennifer Baker.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. I'm Monty Belmonte.
And I'm Khalees Smith. NEPM is celebrating the 9th season of the Best of the Valley Story Slam.
The Best of show happening tomorrow night at the Academy of Music Theater in Northampton features 12 local storytellers. Audience members have selected the top 3 stories from the 4 Valley Voices Story Slams held in the past year.
While some storytellers featured in Best of the Valley Voices have performed on national platforms like the Moth Main Stage, the Moth Radio Hours, Story Jam, and Speak Up for others, Valley Voices Story Slam is their first experience with the art form.
First-time storyteller Josh Simpson of Shelburne, who happens to be a world-renowned glass artist, pitched the Valley Voices Story Slam line for the first time in January of this year. Tomorrow night, he'll be sharing his winning story about how he met his wife, NASA astronaut Katie Coleman.
He'll be joined by other storytellers, including Ruthie Woodring,
Who
founding
I
member
love.
of the Pedal People Cooperative, Amy Dryansky, former poet laureate of Northampton,
Who I also love.
and 8 others. The storytellers will compete for the top prize, Best of the Valley Voices.
But there can only be one winner. The stories are based on the art of first-person narrative storytelling, a la the Moth Radio Hour, which you may have heard here. It puts emphasis on content and performance and encourages storytellers to focus on what they're saying and how they're saying it. It's an exercise in crafting stories within a set time limit, without notes and without props.
We are joined by last year's winner, Paul McNeil, as well as finalist Jennifer Baker.
Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We watched your stories because you can watch so many of the stories, if not all of the stories from the Valley Voices on the NEPM YouTube channel. And both of your stories were wonderful.
Yours was horrifying, Jennifer.
The Onion?
Yeah.
Yes. Here's a little clip of Jennifer's story talking to her mom.
Yeah. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a single red onion and says, "Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Why do you have an onion that you don't want to eat? You bought that?" And she goes, "No, Lisa did." Now, Lisa's my little sister, and Lisa lives in New Jersey, and we're in Chicago. And I'm like, "Mom, did you actually bring an onion from New Jersey to Michigan to Chicago to ask me if I wanted it?" And she goes, "Yeah, I wasn't going to throw it away. Dad and I won't eat it." And I look at Dad, and he's not going to eat it. He actually isn't interested in any of this because they've been married for 50 years, and none of this is new, and so he's just sitting there, okay with it. And I'm like, I don't want the onion.
There's so much more that happens in that story, and I guess my question for you is, for Christmas, did you get your mom Serve Safe classes? Because there are definitely some things about food safety that she needs to learn.
An onion's probably going to be fine, but...
The onion, some of that other stuff is definitely not.
The strawberry tops in the garbage disposal.
No.
I'll tell you something else. I'm not kidding, ate out of the compost last Christmas.
Oh, no.
She had, I mean, I don't know if you want to hear all this, but like...
I mean,
she
in
had
for a dime, in for a dollar, as they say.
She had an elaborate compost drying station that she had set up during the pandemic, which was basically cookie sheets covering our formal dining room table, where she was pre-drying orange peels and other things. So I, thinking I'm the good daughter, I put my pear that I think I've eaten in the compost drying station, and the next morning I come down to breakfast and she's munching it.
She's not chewing on the pear.
And she goes, there's still a lot of good fruit on here.
I mean, a part of me respects how committed she is to, to not wasting food and to composting.
It's
but a part of me does not.
I'm with you.
Part of me is disgusted.
Yeah.
I love her, and I love that paradox.
How did you know that was going to make for a great story to tell in this type of format?
I didn't really know.
I had this line that my dad said to her, like, no, we're not driving the garbage back to Michigan. And when he said it, the first thing I said to him was, Dad, I'm going to write a play about you and Mom one day, and it's going to be called We're Not Driving the Garbage Back to Michigan. And he just, like, had no reaction because that's his thing. And so this is my first time. So I have never, like, written a story or performed it.
Yeah.
But I realized that it's a great crescendo line. Like, it's a great climax line, and so I was able to sort of figure out how to build towards that. But I just had so much fun, like, with the imitations and, like, acting it out. I don't know. It just, like, it was, like, wonderful to do it.
Both of your stories have great climax lines. I feel like that's definitely part of why yours won last year's. Probably we won't give too much away. We do have a.
It's Friday afternoon, and we're gonna get crazy. We can't help it. You got to hear the story in its entirety. It's real form.
You do.
Oh, no.
But the climax line, of course, is what's getting us going here. And we're talking with Jennifer Baker and Paul McNeil, who were part of last year's class of Valley Voice Storytellers. The finals for this year's happening tomorrow night at the Academy of Music in Northampton.
Why get up and what compelled you to get up on stage and tell stories? What made it something that you wanted to pursue? Familiarity with it or no?
Familiarity with the content of the story?
Oh, no, with being on stage and telling something that's close to you.
And it's a particular style of telling it. So, yeah.
It is. It's different. So I do improvisational comedy with the Happier Valley Comedy Theater.
We just had them on a couple weeks ago.
Gosh, I love them. What a great, amazing community. And I'm so proud to be a part of their community. But it's so different. So improvising is easy, right? That's what everyone says. Telling a story is very hard because you have to actually prepare, but you can't. And I've seen people tell stories that are, it's almost like Shakespeare. It's so well crafted, but it's not alive, which is interesting. And then Tony Nunes, who couldn't be on today, but he was one of the top 3 finalists last year. He gave me this amazing feedback last year, which was 5 minutes before you tell the story, change something. And it totally brings it to life. And it's so true. And I'm like, that's where the improv can live in the story. But mostly it was, planned out. I knew what, where do I want to get with the story and how, what should I hit? There's got to be 2 or 3 markers, right? And then it's just so different. It's a very different art form. And I started telling stories in Valley Voices maybe 5-6 years ago. And I was never very good at it, but it was so fun to participate. And I started to get a little bit better. And it's because it's an art form and it's its own craft. And I wasn't really respecting it in that way until the last few years. And it's been so fun to learn about storytelling.
Let's hear a clip of Paul McNeil's award-winning story from last Valley Voices season.
I talk. I'm a big talker, very verbal, very outgoing. When I'm not talking, I don't feel as connected. I don't feel as included. And it's a big deal for me to feel included, to be a part of something. I hate being lonely. I hate being alone. I'm from a very big family. I'm one of 8 kids. I was the 7th of 8 kids. I'm a classic 7th. Extroverted, sensitive, Pisces, 6'3".
I picked that segment because it's funny, but it is not really what the story is about. We only have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
We were talking about onions in your pocketbook before. Let's talk about bananas now.
Okay.
And use that as a euphemism. You mispronounced a word in Laotian.
Yeah, Lao. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us what the word is in that language if you remember it.
I do. Yeah, of course I remember. The word for I is koi, and I was saying koi, which is the word for penis. And so what I
asked you to say banana, and then you go right ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
You really missed that.
Banana.
It is a medical term, and I remind you, NEPM sponsored this event, and it was chosen as the winner by our people.
That's right.
Management, take it up with Vanessa.
This is NEPM approved, and Vanessa approved it very approvingly.
Forcefully.
So,
That sounds so wrong.
So the story was about how I really wanted to connect with people, and I had to master a bunch of parts of that tonal language in order to communicate effectively. And for months, I was basically incorrectly saying that my banana was doing certain things. Like my banana was hungry, my banana was tired, my banana was too big to sit amongst the monks at the monastery to meditate.
Right. The story is hilarious. You can check out all of these stories online on YouTube. There's the Valley Voices podcast, and go see these
Go see the
stories
show.
live
Go
and
see
see
the
who next
show.
year's
Hear these
this
stories
year's
of
winner
your
will be.
neighbors because that's the fascinating part of it. I really did identify with the learning a language that has tonal qualities to it from trying to learn Chinese and failing.
Yeah.
So I got that.
It's happening tomorrow at the Academy of Music Theater in Northampton, the finals of the Valley Voices Story Slam for this season. Thank you both so much, Paul McNeil and Jennifer Baker, for joining us today.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Are you taking bets on who wins?
We always do, yeah. On FanDuel.
It's a bracket.
I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. We'll see you Monday on the Fabulous 413 for more shenanigans.
There is fiction in the space between